All right, episode 56. So this week we are headed off on our honeymoon, which is very exciting. It'll be the longest vacation that I think we've both been on together probably in our entire 10-year relationship. Usually we go on trips for like 3 to 4 days, but this one will be like a full 6 days. And I think we're even more excited with the fact that we have absolutely just nothing planned. We're going to be sitting by the pool or by the ocean, and that's it. That's all we're going to do, a real vacation. But anyways, when you're packing and preparing for a trip like this, you think about the items that you just can't leave behind. What are the travel essentials? But then, of course, your mind gets carried away and you overpack for no reason. Personally, I'm a mild overpacker, I'd say. It's not like super crazy, but I dream of a version of me where I can just lightly pack a duffel bag for a trip and just have no worries at all. I think that would just be great. And because this trip was planned out just so far in advance, though, I've had plenty of time for random things to pop into my brain as I tell myself, don't forget that. And because I've just had so much time for this just to like stew and sit in the back of my mind, my empty, passive thoughts have turned into what are my life essentials? What are my must-have products that define me, the things I can't live without? So today I'm revealing the top 10 things that I myself can't live without. Now, I wanted to make some rules around this, though, for obvious reasons and for entertainment's sake. I'm excluding phones, wallets, and keys. I think those are just obvious everyday essentials that everyone lives with and you can't live without. Now, if there are unique qualifications for them, for example, like a special feature on a keychain or personal value like photos in a wallet, then please feel free to include those. But yeah, I just kind of want to make some general rules for us to proceed so that we can get a little more deeper than the phone, wallet, keys. All right. So anyways, we may now proceed. All right. First, we have the water bottle. If there's anything my generation has heard our entire lives, it's that we are always dehydrated. We're just never getting enough water. And these are the first world problems that we're choosing to dive into. Now, I personally love a plastic water bottle. You can play with the cap. You can flip it and not worry about dropping the water bottle. It's clear so you can see the water, which I like. But something we've also been told our entire lives is plastic is bad, and that has led to the incredible rise of the portable water bottle. And this right here, this is my guy. This is the Hydroflask. I carry this big old 32 ouncer with me pretty much everywhere. However, I still think that I don't drink as much water as I should simply because I can't see the water. But for me personally, coldness is a bigger priority, and that's why I am a loyal Hydroflask customer. I know the Stanley is big right now. I'm not oblivious to that at all, but I just appreciate the simplicity behind the Hydroflask. It keeps water freezing. It never leaks. It's very sturdy. It's without a doubt just the most dependable essential that you can have. Now, this is my second Hydroflask. The first one I got back in college. It was navy blue. I probably had it for 5 years. I actually lost it at a convention 2 years ago, and I was just absolutely just devastated about this. It was covered with so many just cool different stickers, and it was my loyal just travel companion during that very fun time in my life. But after a few weeks of grieving, I finally accepted it, and then I purchased Golden Boy here. And Golden Boy is much more mature. He doesn't have any stickers. He's just here to do a job. I do like that he's yellow, though. Stands out, and now I'll never leave him behind. Next, we have the Aquaphor chapstick. So being in a constant state of dehydration because of my lack of water intake and the dry desert atmosphere that I've lived in my entire life, my lips are always chapped. They've been chapped just my entire life. And I tried almost every chapstick under the sun. I think this is the best one so far. I've done Vaseline, I've done the chapstick brand, Carmex, Blistex, Burt's Bees, Nivea. This one, Aquaphor. Aquaphor is the best. It's got SPF 30 in it, and it even says for very dry lips right on it on the front, which I like. It's being very upfront, this is for me. This is my go-to. And on top of that, it has a very satisfying just little twist nozzle that's very easy to operate, and then a very satisfying little click too, which is kind of nice. But I used to use the big squeezable bottle of the Aquaphor, but my wife literally puts Aquaphor and Vaseline on her entire body and like every single day, and I use like a penny's worth probably every few days. But so then I had to resort to the chapstick 2-pack, which is nice. I like it. The only issues that I really do have is that number one, I'm always losing it. So I'm happy it comes in a 2-pack, but when it's in the 2-pack, it's like $7 for 2 chapsticks, which is kind of a lot. So I'm just always very upset if I lose it, and now it's like my mission to go and find it if I do lose it. And then number two, I'm a big lip biter. Like I'm always like just biting on my lip. I'm always biting my nails. I'm just a very biting on like pens and things like that. I'm a very anxious person, and I have this like extreme oral fixation, I feel like. So I have to put a lot more on than the average person, I feel like. But at the same time, this is why I kind of like it, because it's not very, it doesn't feel like super like caked on. It's not thick. You can forget about it really easily. So yeah, the Aquaphor chapstick is a must try. You can get it at Target. All right, next we have the Chemex. So within the past few years, I've become a bit of a coffee snob. I really appreciate a solid, good, just black cup of coffee, hot or iced. And I think the Chemex is one of the best entry-level methods for making a good cup of coffee. And I say entry-level because it's super easy to get kind of like carried away with the grinders and the machines that are like $1,500. But this little guy was like $30. And it takes maybe 5 minutes to make a cup of coffee. So you start your kettle, you grind your beans, and then you start folding your good old filter here. It's just one of these. These are like, there's special sizes for the different sizes of Chemex. So you just kind of like fold it. It's like you're doing like a little origami in the morning. It's nice. But Amazon Subscribe and Save, you can get it all done. You don't even have to think about like running out of filters ever, replacing them. So it's nice. But anyways, once this is all folded properly, you add a little water to it, pour out the water, add in your coffee beans, let those soak for about 30 seconds. Now, I think this is one of the best ways to start the day. It's easy, it's like still methodical, and during this entire process, you're just like smelling all of the good senses of a good cup of coffee. Personally, I use Mothership out here in Vegas. It is a great coffee brand, but I'm going to be moving soon, so I'm going to have to start doing some fun coffee test-taking experiments, which will be fun. But after you let the coffee soak for about 30 seconds, then you just kind of fill up the Chemex twice and let it do its thing. Let it just give you a nice cup of coffee, and you throw out the grinds, and you're good to go. But it's very easy. It's like elegant at the same time, I think. Very nice. I've had this for a long time. It suits me well. Something else I cannot live without also is the everyday, just high-top sneaker. Typically, you'll find me in either a white Converse, a white mid-high blazer, or the skate-high Vans. I think these are the 3 everyday. These are my go-to. But I've had the privilege of growing up my entire life with the horrible genetic trait of just small wrists and small ankles. I mean, these things are just absolutely worthless. I can't wear watches ever. They look insanely just massive on my wrist. If you have a watch, go put it on your girlfriend's wrist, and that's what it looks like on me. And when it comes to my ankles, I just need as much support as possible. And I rarely like expose my ankles in any way. They're just too small. And it's a shame because I really like the Adidas Samba, but I don't think I could ever pull it off. And you can definitely bet that 100% of the time, I'm taking the extra time to lace these bad boys up all the way, make sure they're tight, because they have saved me from many, many just twisted ankles. So lace them up, kids, and lace them up tight. But I feel like on a fashion level, I feel like these are just kind of like timeless selections, especially these two right here, plus a little like pop of the white, I think is kind of nice. And I think the everyday shoe should have a little wear and tear. It shows character. Whenever we'd get into like a car accident as a kid, or like have like not a car accident, but like scratch our car, get a dent in our car, we'd always have to tell our father, and he'd say, you know what, it adds character. And I think the same applies to the good everyday high top sneaker. But just have a few. I mean, you can also have those nice shoes that are on for like special occasions, but you don't want to be always like worrying about if you're getting your shoes dirty. That's just a pain in the ass. And I do that sometimes. So got to make sure you don't live your whole life like that. Get some everyday ones that you're okay to mess up with. And don't forget to also wear the crew sock. Nothing is worse than a high top shoe and a low cut sock. If you are walking and that low cut sock it slides off your heel, there's nothing worse. You're like telling everyone in your group, you're like, hey guys, hang on, I gotta fix my sock, and then you're like digging in your shoe, and no one wants to see that. It's not a good look. So make sure you're wearing the crew sock with the high top sneaker. Now, staying in the functional and fashion realm, these are prescription sunglasses. I have worn glasses pretty much my entire life. I had contacts for a little when I was in high school and I played sports, but the majority of my life, I've always worn glasses. And until maybe 5 years ago, I've had to make the decision, do I want to be able to see outside or not? And I'd have to either A, put on contacts just so that I could wear normal sunglasses, but then my eyes would be irritated and uncomfortable all day. I could B, just wear glasses and deal with the glaring sun and squint for my entire time that I was outside. Or C, when the time came for me to get new glasses, I had the option always to get transitional lenses, and I always said no because I thought I'd look like the biggest nerd in the entire school if I had transitional lenses. So finally, at 24, 25 years old, I treated myself to a nice pair of prescription sunglasses, and it's one of the best decisions that I just have ever made. As someone who is incredibly cheap, I will tell you that it is definitely worth the investment. The only drawback is that if you like forget that you're wearing them, and often I leave my regular glasses in like the cup holder of my car when I'm wearing these. I actually just did this week, but the worst time was when we went to an NFL game, right? And my wife dropped us off in the car at the stadium, and then she was going to drive back. And as I'm walking away, I realized I'm wearing my sunglasses, and I left my normal glasses in the cup holder of the car. And now I had to watch like this 3-hour game in an indoor stadium. And this is what I look like. I look like an idiot who thought he was outside, but wasn't. Another on-the-go essential is the extra peppermint sugar-free chewing gum 35-stick mega pack, to be specific. One of the most important life lessons you can learn from a man named Michael G. Scott, and he says it in his book, Somehow I Manage. He has a chapter on it called Gum, and in this chapter he reads, everyone likes the guy who offers them a stick of gum. And really, that's all you need to know. I mentioned I drink a lot of coffee, and I'm always worrying about like coffee breath, right? And I have this oral fixation that I mentioned as well. So chewing gum keeps me incredibly busy. And this may sound gross, but I can chew on the same piece of gum for like hours on end, and it doesn't bother me at all. But this gum specifically I like because it has a good, just long-lasting flavor. It's sugar-free, and it comes in this nice kind of like resealable pack that keeps it nice and fresh. Because like nobody wants a stale piece of gum that's held together by this flimsy paper box. You got to break out the resealable mega pack, and people will be very impressed. Like, this guy's got his shit together. I remember one time I brought this into a meeting, and a few people in the beginning of the meeting grabbed a piece. Then I kind of just put the pack in the middle of the conference table. And at one point, someone in the meeting, like it was a long meeting, so they kind of began fidgeting. They took the mega pack, they started opening it and closing it, opening and closing it. They started spinning it around on the table. And then at one point, they took it open and started reorganizing all of the pieces of gum. And then after the meeting was over, they were like, "Oh, don't forget your gum." And I was like, "No, that's yours now." I don't know why. I was just so disgusted by this for some reason. And I think they really took offense to it because they realized it was because they touched every piece of gum. And then they tried to like justify it by saying like, oh, they didn't touch the actual piece. They were just touching the tinfoil wrappers, not the actual gum. But I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was. It was just a mental block. So if you're offered a piece of gum, either accept the gum from the person that's handing it to you, or only touch the one piece that you're getting out of the pack. I think that's just like common courtesy. That's the one gum rule you should live by. But can you imagine living in a place where it's like illegal to chew gum, like Singapore? That would be a really hard life, especially because this is one of the 10 things I can't live without. All right, item number 7. This is my fidget toy. If I'm sitting at my desk, you can believe that this little guy is within a foot of me at all times. You can get it on Amazon for like $7, and it will change your life. This one I've had years now. I think it's my second one. The first one I had was a cube, but it's got just so many amazing features. First, you have the 4 clickable buttons right here, which is kind of nice. 2 of them are with sound, 2 of them are not. Then you got your joystick right here. Then you got, on this side, the roller. And then on the opposite side, you have like a ticking scroller. And then right here, this little guy, you got a spring-loaded, I don't know, slider, I guess you would call it. And then on the back, you have a rotating disc, which probably is my favorite. And then you've got the switch, which is really nice. But it's just hours and hours of fun. And the best thing about it, though, is how you can use it. So it's great, one, for boredom. Like if you're sitting at a meeting and you're kind of like disengaged, you just break this bad boy out, and it kind of helps you like just you passively fiddle with it. It just helps you stay focused. You know, it keeps you engaged as long as possible. Another thing you can use it for is if you're nervous, like in a presentation or an interview or even, I guess, another meeting. But it kind of just helps you calm down. It kind of just like brings you back to reality a little bit. And you don't have to like put your head down at all. Don't have to look at it. I used to doodle a lot, and I think people would get upset because my head would be down and I'd be doodling. Like it looked like I wasn't paying attention. But now I just break out this little guy, solved it completely. And there's a bunch of different ones. So yeah, check them out. It's like $6. So spend the $6 and you can now never be bored. Just enjoy your next meeting. Next one that I have, I feel like this is a given for most people, but headphones. Headphones are a must-need item. Personally, I use the Apple AirPods Pro. They're great. I love them. I use the noise cancellation feature almost always. I like the padded earbuds. They stay in my ear a lot better than the original AirPods did. And yeah, this little case is just kind of like nice and sleek. It's small enough to fit in your pockets. I don't like having a lot of stuff in my pockets between my keys and chapstick and phone already. So this little guy fits in well. And it's a great like on the go kind of fidget toy too. It's magnetic. You play with that. It's smooth. It spins really well on like hard surfaces. So anyways, yeah, I think everyone should have a really good pair of headphones to tune out the world. Sometimes I'm not even playing anything at all. I'll put them on just so people won't talk to me. Like walking into a grocery store and there's the fucking Girl Scouts are standing out there and bothering people. Like, you're not going to harass me. Just boom, throw on the AirPods and just don't even look in their direction. You can music, podcasts, audiobooks. My headphones are in. I might as well have a sign on my forehead that says, do not talk to me. All right, at number 9, we've got the dad hat. Thank God for the dad hat. If I ever live in a time where the dad hat goes out of style, it's going to be a problem. But I think it just kind of gives the rest of humanity a little peek into like who you are, what your personality is all about. Personally, my hats usually show some type of sports allegiance. And also you'll find me in a black one more often than not. Probably over 50% of my dad hat collection is all black, but you can wear it with anything. And it's just the ultimate on-the-go necessity, you know, gym, grocery store, gas station, whatever. And personally, I have really bad like bedhead. Like I wake up and I just look like I got like caught in a tornado. I never understood people who can just wake up with perfect hair, but thankfully I have got the dad hat. So I just put this bad boy on and I can go anywhere. And finally, at number 10, the slotted spoon or spatula. It's like a little combo, I guess. But I use this little utensil every single day. Everyone should have that one go-to thing in the kitchen that can just help them get around. And I feel like I can do okay with just like a chef's knife and this guy. This one specifically was ingrained for my wife's family like Christmas baking party. Most years her family like hosts this big baking party, and my wife enjoys getting like little custom baking gifts for everyone who attends, which means I spend an entire Saturday wood engraving people's names in spoons. So this one was ours. It has got a little present with my name and then a little snowflake on that side with her name. So cute. Anyways, that's it. That's my essentials. That's what I need to get through. I would love to hear yours, and feel free to let me know in the comments. Just be sure to remember the rules and put some thought into it too. I think we need a good balance of like specificity here. So when it comes to thinking things out, like put a little thought into it. But thank you for watching. I appreciate it. As you're watching this, I'll be sitting on a beach, and so I'll be living good as long as I don't forget anything. So hopefully it all works out. But all right, I'll see you.